Two things can be true at the same time. I was recently watching this viral clip that was going out about a pastor who was talking about how mental illness does not exist. And whenever I hear something controversial like that, I always want to go to the source and read it in its entirety to see what exactly someone was talking about. And so as I was watching the clip and listening to him talk, I found myself agreeing and disagreeing with him at the same time. Which leads me to this. Two things can be true at the same time. When it comes to the issue of mental health, we see people who will excuse their behavior and make reasonings for it of why it's okay that they behave the way that they do, even though it's wrong. And so we see people who are not willing to take accountability for their actions in the name of mental health, which can be challenging for those that truly do need the help. We see an overprescription and a misdiagnosis a lot of times of people who are just going through everyday normal life. And so it can be really challenging when we want to support mental health, but we also want to make sure that we're not making excuses for bad behavior. Two things can be true at the same time. Because of this, I think that it's really easy for us to swing in the opposite direction and truly dismiss genuine health concerns that people have when it comes to their mental and emotional health. When it comes to the world, I see a lot of just looking at mental and emotional health through a very clinical standpoint and not offering alternative options other than just a clinical diagnostic. And then when it comes to the church, it's very spiritual. We don't have a lot of conversation about surrounding the other reasonings about why we might be struggling mentally or emotionally about certain things. We just look at it from only a spiritual lens. And the issue with that, with both looking at it clinically and looking at it just spiritually, is that we are metaphysical beings. We are made up of body, mind, and spirit. We are not just one or the other. God has created us so uniquely that we have to address our mental health issues from that perspective. Before we continue, my name is Mariah. I'm a certified Christian mental health coach, and it's my goal to help encourage and grow you in your emotional and spiritual maturity through biblically based holistic practices. I'm bringing this controversial conversation to you because I think that it's important that we as a people who follow Jesus are able to have these conversations, because there is a real and dying world out there that truly needs connection with God, others, and themselves. And the way that happens is through our mental and emotional health. We need to be able to address that holistically without demonizing it or making it the end all be all of people who tend to just let that be the definition of their life. Oh, well, I have this disorder or I have this issue, and that is all that they are. We are more than our diagnostics, and we are not wrong or sinful if that is something that we struggle with. Being able to quote the Bible, going to church 3 times a week, serving in multiple ministries, those are good things, but those are not something that we do that give us the most growth. If you want to grow in your journey, in your faith journey, then what you need to do is address your emotional and mental health. That is how we grow in spiritual maturity, because then we're able to grow in connection with God, others, and ourselves. This means we need to be able to address the different struggles that we have as humans without overemphasizing our humanity or completely minimizing it and making everything spiritual. We have to take responsibility for our health, starting with the things that we can do on a daily basis, such as making sure we get good sleep, making sure that we're getting adequate nutrition, practicing rest or Sabbath, making sure that we are being mindful of what we are consuming and doing our best to participate in what God has given us. At the same time, recognizing that we live in a fallen world, that our bodies are broken, and that our brains don't always work the way that they should. And so if we do struggle, we have to be able to give ourselves grace and take responsibility at the same time. It's like if a person has cancer, if they're rude and nasty, that's not okay. But we do offer a compassionate response to them because we understand that what they're going through is difficult. This is the same perspective, the same mentality that we need to take when it comes to dealing with people and ourselves when we have emotional and mental struggles. Two things can be true at the same time. We need to do a good job as a church of being able to address the nuances of health, understanding that there are mental, physical, emotional struggles within that health, and knowing that just because we do struggle doesn't mean that we're a bad Christian. It doesn't mean that we're just these sinful human beings. Two things can be true at the same time. I hope this short video was thought-provoking for you. As Christians, we need to be able to be responsible. We need to be able to acknowledge what we're playing in our own health and understand at the same time that it will not be perfect on this side of eternity, that there will still be things that we are just going to deal with until God renews all of this. But until then, let's have better conversations about how we can help each other and grow in emotional and spiritual maturity. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this video was a blessing to you. If you want to connect more, make sure to join me over on my socials. You can also click the link below. I'm going to have an email link for you if you want to grow in your emotional health journey. And make sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and click the notification bell so you don't miss the next episode. I'll talk to you soon.